before we start, subscribe to my channel. You don't want to miss stories that hit harder than fiction. The night began quietly, deceptively ordinary, carrying the false comfort of routine, while a storm silently gathered beneath the surface. Lisa, my wife, told me she was heading out with friends for a casual night of drinks and laughter. Her voice held that familiar mix of cheer and nonchalance, but something in her eyes didn't match her words. There was a fleeting hesitation, an evasive flicker I couldn't ignore. I watched her pass by, her coat brushing my arm, her smile forced, a little too wide, pretending everything was fine. A knot tightened in my chest. Yet I told myself to trust her, to believe in the woman I loved. I had no idea that this night would mark the moment everything between us changed forever. Hours passed, and the house grew quieter with each tick of the clock. I tried to convince myself she was just having fun, that late-night outings were normal among her friends. But doubt crept in like a cold shadow, persistent and relentless. I called her once, twice, sent messages, but received nothing. Dinner sat untouched, my mind wandering endlessly, imagining her laughing with others while I waited alone. A quiet tension built with every passing minute. Sleep was impossible. I couldn't stop replaying her leaving, the way she avoided my gaze, moved as if I didn't exist. Something felt very wrong, and deep down, I feared I already knew the answer. Finally, around midnight, a call from one of her friends shattered the fragile hope I had been clinging to. Hesitantly, they revealed what I feared. Lisa had been seen with another man at a local bar, lingering too close, laughing too freely, completely absorbed in his company. My chest tightened, a mixture of disbelief, betrayal, and a simmering anger threatening to boil over. Every instinct screamed at me to rush there, confront them, make her feel the consequences immediately. But I surprised even myself. I remained calm. I realized that losing control would only give her the power she thought she had. Instead, I made a decision that would shape the rest of the night. I would stay silent, let her face the weight of her own choices, and allow her actions to speak louder than any words I could ever utter. When she finally returned, the air around her was different, heavy with exhaustion, laughter still lingering weakly on her lips. I didn't rush to greet her. I didn't demand explanations. I didn't even reach for her coat. I simply stood silently, watching her attempt to maintain composure, hide the evidence of her evening. She tried to smile, faltering, a shadow of the confident, teasing woman who had left hours earlier. My silence hit harder than any confrontation could. Her eyes darted nervously, realizing that the expected yelling, accusations, and confrontation weren't coming. Instead, she faced calm, steady resolve, the weight of her choices settling on her like a stone. Hours stretched, the tension folding into a quiet, suffocating routine. I went about my own activities, making it clear with every movement that her actions had consequences she could no longer escape. She tried repeatedly, knocking at the door, calling my phone, sending frantic messages, even slipping small notes under the door, each attempt more desperate than the last. I ignored them all. My silence became a mirror, reflecting her mistakes back at her, forcing her to confront her poor decisions without distraction or denial. Each unanswered call, each ignored knock emphasized the gravity of her betrayal in a way anger never could. Finally, late in the afternoon, her name flashed on my phone. My hand hovered over it, tension coiling in my chest. I answered. Her voice trembled, raw, fragile. Please talk to me, she begged. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I made a mistake. I just need you to listen. Her words struck me like a sudden storm. After hours of silence, control, and quiet judgment, she poured out the full weight of her guilt, fear, and regret. Yet I remained silent, letting her voice carry the truth she had long avoided. She confessed everything, her drinks, her laughter, the flirtation that had grown into something more, the text she had hoped I'd never see. Her voice shook as she recounted her excitement, carelessness, and recklessness, her pride stripped away in real time. I listened silently, letting the enormity of her actions resonate in the space between us. Each revelation chipped away at her facade, revealing panic, shame, and the unmistakable fear of someone realizing too late that the choices they thought harmless carried real consequences. I didn't interrupt. I didn't scold or yell. I simply let her words, heavy with regret and desperation, illustrate the weight of her actions. By the end, she was sobbing, broken, begging for forgiveness she didn't deserve. In that moment, I saw the full power of silence. It had forced her to face herself completely, to feel the cost of her choices firsthand. No shouting, no confrontation, just the patient, measured authority of letting truth speak. After the call ended, I sat alone, reflecting on the night. I wasn't angry in the way she might have expected. I was shattered, yes, but also resolute. Her desperation had revealed the depth of her betrayal and the fragility of trust. She had tried to manipulate, but my calm silence turned the tables completely. The night had become a lesson in control, patience, and allowing someone's own actions to expose their guilt. By morning, she arrived at the house, humbled and terrified, expecting immediate forgiveness. I remained calm, letting her witness the weight of her deeds. Every apology, plea, and tear hung in the quiet air, forcing her to confront the destruction her choices had caused. That night, she learned what it meant to be powerless and desperate, the very state she had forced me into countless times before. And as I watched her, broken and remorseful, I realized true strength lies not in anger, but in measured silence, in control, and in letting consequences speak for themselves.